Dimitra's Dishes. Today I'm going to teach you how to make a classic Greek recipe, Patzarosalata. That just translates to a beet salad, and we're going to make it with a little bit of a yogurt topping and crunchy walnuts. It might sound a little strange, but the whole thing is delicious. You could eat it as a meal because it is very flavorful and very hearty, or you can just serve it as a side to anything that you like. It goes good with almost everything. The beets are roasted and they're super sweet. The whole thing is just so delicious. We're going to begin by roasting the beets. You definitely want to buy fresh beets that are uncooked. That's the best one to use. Never use the canned stuff because there's no flavor in those. And you can prepare them two ways. You can boil them or you can roast them. My go-to way to do this is roasting them because it just really intensifies their flavor and brings out their sweetness. And I just love the way roasted vegetables take over boiled any day, especially when it comes to beets. If you want to boil them, go ahead and follow the step-by-step instructions that are going to be on the blog following this recipe. When you're looking for beets, if you can find them with the greens attached, that is best. Now these greens are very sad looking and that is not what you're going to be looking for. I was supposed to film this video last week and then the whole family came down with the flu and these are sitting in my fridge, so I'm not going to let them go to waste. The beets are actually still very fresh. It's just a shame that the greens are going to go to waste because these greens taste very good if you blanch them or cook them a little bit. They almost have a little bit of a spinach taste to them. It tastes good with meat, in salads and everything, but they do taste best if you cook them a little bit before you use them. I prefer them to eating them raw. Now I'm going to remove the stems and then I'm going to prepare them for roasting. So we're just going to cut off where the stem meets the beet. And I'm also going to cut off these tips. Then I'm just going to scrub them really well under cold water. I'm going to dry them completely dry. And then I'm going to put them on a baking tray that has a big sheet of aluminum foil on top of it. I'm going to place all 6 beets into the aluminum foil, wrap it up so that way they're covered, and I'm going to bake them in a preheated oven. It's set to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm going to bake them until they're tender but not mushy. It's going to take about 45 minutes to an hour depending on the size of the beets. I'll show you what they look like as soon as they're done. So my beets came out of the oven after exactly 45 minutes, and you test them with a knife by inserting it into the beet, and if it comes out easily or just with a little bit of a push, then you know they're going to be ready. You do not want them to be mushy. Let them cool for 10 minutes and then carefully peel the skins off and then slice them or dice them, whatever you want. I like to slice them into rounds. Do put on some gloves, otherwise you're going to end up with pink fingers and pink hands like I do. Really not a big deal because I cook all the time and this will wash off by the end of the night. But if you do have gloves, then you'll have much nicer looking fingers than I do. Like I said, cut the beets into whatever size you want. I like to slice them into rounds and I'm going to put them in a big bowl. Let's go over the remaining ingredients so we can put this whole thing together. So for the yogurt dressing, we're going to need some yogurt. You can use plain yogurt or Greek yogurt, and lots of mint and 2 garlic cloves. Then we're going to need, as the garnish, toasted walnuts. I just put them in the oven at 350 degrees for about 5 to 6 minutes. My sliced beets. Then we're going to need some salt, black pepper, dried oregano, a little bit of Greek honey or whatever honey you have on hand, some good olive oil. I like to use Greek olive oil, and some balsamic vinegar. We're going to begin with the dressing. So we're going to put a 1/4 cup of balsamic vinegar. You can use balsamic vinegar or red wine vinegar. I prefer the balsamic. It has a little bit more flavor. A 1/4 cup of good quality Greek olive oil, a little bit of dried oregano, and some Greek honey. Then we're just going to pour the vinaigrette over the beets, and we're going to toss the beets so that way they're coated in the vinaigrette carefully. If you didn't overcook them, they should not mash at this point. That's the reason you do not want to overcook them, because you want them to hold their shape. And I'm also going to season them with a little bit of salt and black pepper. You can taste one to check and see if they need a little more salt. I'll take this small one right here. I love beets. Perfect. They don't need any more salt. I'm just going to set them aside while we make the yogurt dressing. So I have my yogurt over here. You can use Greek yogurt or plain. This is plain because that's what I had on hand. I always buy full fat yogurt or whole milk yogurt. I don't like the low fat or the fat-free variety, but use whatever you have. I'm gonna grate the 2 garlic cloves into the yogurt. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt and black pepper. And I'm gonna mix everything all up. Then I'm just gonna finely chop some mint and add it to the yogurt mixture, mix it all up. Then we're just gonna put everything all together. Roughly chop the walnuts. Then take a pretty platter and put the beets onto the platter with all the dressing that's on them. And if you want to get fancy, you could arrange the beets into rows, but have we met? I don't do that. I don't do fancy. Now, if you wanted to serve the salad as is, it has so much flavor and you could serve it just like this. Sprinkle some fresh mint on top or parsley or even dill and the toasted walnuts, that's what they are, and the toasted walnuts, and you could serve it as is, but I'm gonna take it to the next level and drizzle some of this yogurt sauce on top. Garnish it with the toasted walnuts. And some mint. And this looks too pretty to eat. It's ready to be served just like this. You can serve the yogurt, whatever's left over, in a little bowl, or you could pour the whole thing on top. I just tried to make it look a little bit pretty. I'm gonna take a little bite of this because this looks so good. The beets are so sweet and they're perfectly marinated in that vinaigrette. It just goes so good together. Sweet beets in a vinaigrette or sweet beets with vinegar are like a match made in heaven. Pair that with that garlicky, minty yogurt dip on top and those crunchy walnuts, and you have a meal ready. In really under an hour, everything is done. This tastes very good cold, so you could put it in the refrigerator, and if you're serving it for a dinner party, make it a couple of hours ahead of time. Keep it refrigerated. I would pour the yogurt on it right before I serve it. I wouldn't pour it and put it in the fridge just in case the colors start to run, and then it's still gonna taste good. It's just gonna not look as pretty. Go on over to the website, dimitrasdishes.com, print this recipe out. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for spending time with me today. I'll see you all next time. Yes, us.